The following is a production of the University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Hi, this is David Arundale, your host for the Peer Assisted Learning Groups podcast. Thanks for spending some time with me today. In this particular podcast episode, I provide a really short overview of the updated and heavily expanded annotated bibliography for the 7 major peer learning group programs. Our colleagues in the field have been really productive in the past year with new research, publications to inform us of best practices for peer learning programs. There's 7 programs which I have been monitoring for many years, and this annotated bibliography is updated each year. The 7 programs that I follow, which are programs that have been implemented at multiple institutions within a country, and a number of them have been implemented in different countries around the world, particularly one of them is going to be nearly, I think it's up to 40 or 50 countries. But the programs that I follow are accelerated learning groups, peer-led team learning, structured learning assistance, supplemental instruction, which is also known by other names around the world, including peer-assisted learning, peer-assisted study sessions, and more, and also video-based supplemental instruction. I'm really fascinated to see what these programs do in terms of how they organize themselves, what are the best practices, how they assess themselves rigorously in order to know whether their programs are effective or not, what kinds of training programs that they have in order to be able to allow those young people to be so effective and helping other students who participate in the programs that earn higher grades, persist at the institution longer, and now, as we see with a number of the programs, their emphasis is moved in addition to grade enhancement. They're also looking to see whether there is a sense of belonging, whether there is a development of personal and professional development skills, and all the rest. And as I said, I find the literature fascinating. Actually, the bibliography started off back in 2000 whenever I was working on my dissertation. I was back at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, working with the supplemental instruction program, and I was in charge of keeping the bibliography up of articles that have been, or publications that have been written about supplemental instruction. I had also been paying attention that there was a number of other programs that are out there. Well, now since I went up to the University of Minnesota for the next chapter of my life, which I just recently concluded here a couple of years ago whenever I retired to be at home and do my writing, I was able to kind of expand my vision for what other programs that are out there. And I just named off the other 6 programs in addition to supplemental instruction. I hope that you are able to take advantage of the bibliography. I'd be careful about printing it. It's probably about 350 to 400 pages long. So you may want to look at it in terms of a PDF and to do search terms in order to find things that are of high interest to you. I'll also talk in future episodes how to be able to access the website where it's located at and how you can actually download the database that I use in order to organize all of these more than, what are we up to now? Something like 1,400 different publications have been created for those 7 programs. And I make that available for free. I end up using a bibliographic software program called EndNote, and it allows you to be able to manage just the sheer volume of all of the material. And also, I build in keywords so that you can do a keyword search for something in particular. So let's say you wanted to know something about 2-year colleges and math programs. Well, you could be able to search for that. So that database is downloadable. All you need to have is a copy of EndNote. I think it runs for a couple $100 or so. And I think that there are some free bibliographic software database programs that are free and oftentimes are provided by university libraries to help students as they're preparing their papers. Well, maybe you could also take advantage of that as well. In addition to this podcast, I'm also attaching two other documents that you can also download. One of them is the entire annotated bibliography. And since the largest number of people who listen to this podcast work with supplemental instruction, I also made a separate document that's focused just on articles that are about supplemental instruction. But I think there's wonderful lessons to be learned from any of these 7 programs, and we're going to be talking about those more. I recently put out a invitation for programs to come forward and have their students as well as their study group program managers be interviewed for the podcast. Well, I'm in process right now of working on the process to record all of those interviews, edit them, and to begin to share those with upcoming episodes. Well, I just want to thank everyone for listening today. I hope our words have been useful, and I hope we have a really productive season of sharing the great story that you have written, that your students are doing. And for me, it's just my delight to get to come along on the ride. So take good care. Tune in for next time.